gonna show you what I meal prep this week to get over 120 grams of protein per day. Now, most of these recipes were made in the air fryer, so if you don't have an air fryer, then they could also be made in the oven, but you need an air fryer, okay? I just got one and I love it. If you do have an air fryer, this meal prep video is perfect for you. But we're gonna be making breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert. A healthy, gut healthy, high protein dessert. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's jump right into it. Starting off with breakfast, we're gonna make some blueberry chia seed pudding. This is gonna be really good for your gut health and it's gonna be high in protein. So we're just gonna use 6 tablespoons of chia seeds, 1.5 cups of coconut milk. If you get this coconut milk that I'm showing, then you can just use the whole thing without measuring it, which is really nice. Then we're gonna use 1/2 cup of vanilla Greek yogurt. I like the Oikos brand the best. We're gonna use 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. So you could also use honey. 1/3 of a cup of blueberries. They could be fresh or frozen. I like frozen because they're cheaper. 1/4 of a cup of almonds. The almonds get a little bit softer, which is nice after they sit in the fridge overnight. And then 1/4 of a cup of unsweetened coconut flakes. Then you're just gonna mix everything up until it's well combined. Then we're gonna store it in the fridge overnight, and in the morning we're gonna have this nice, thick but also creamy chia seed pudding. It is so delicious, and I like to pair it with turkey sausage to add a little bit more protein. For lunch, we're gonna make chicken nuggets and sweet potato fries. So we're gonna start by cutting up some chicken breasts into bite-sized pieces. I used about 1 pound of chicken, and then after I cut them all up, then I marinated it in pickle juice. I just used regular dill pickle juice. I covered all of the chicken, and then I shook it up a little bit to make sure that everything was evenly coated, and then I stored it in the fridge for about 4 or 5 hours. So I actually did this step before I did anything else in my meal prep process, and after 4 hours, then I took it through the breading station. So I dipped the chicken pieces in flour mixed with paprika, and then I dipped it in some egg, and then I dipped it in panko. I use whole wheat panko. You could use any kind of panko that you like, any breadcrumbs or anything like that, but make sure you shake off the excess after you dip it in each station. So if you want to use 2 hands like I'm doing right here, I found that it made it go by much faster. So if you can use both sides of your brain and do this, then it makes it so much more efficient. Once you get done breading all of your chicken and you have it in an even layer across your air fryer, then you're gonna spray the tops of it with olive oil spray. This is just straight olive oil. There's no other ingredients or propellants in it. Then you're gonna put it in the air fryer for 10 minutes at 395 degrees. And after that 10 minutes, you're gonna flip it over and put it back in the air fryer for 5 more minutes. While that's cooking, we're gonna chop up our sweet potatoes into fries. You can make them as thin or thick as you want. And then we're gonna cover them with some olive oil, garlic salt, onion powder, paprika, and black pepper. Then we're gonna toss them around until all the fries are evenly coated. And then we're gonna put them in the air fryer at 400 degrees for 15 minutes on one side. We're gonna take them out and shake them around and then put them back in the air fryer for 10 more minutes at 400 degrees. I love how these turned out. The chicken was super crispy on the outside and tender and juicy on the inside, and the sweet potato fries were as amazing as always. For dinner, we're gonna make a delicious high protein salad. We're gonna start with about 1 pound of chicken tenders. We're gonna use some low sodium dill seasoning. I use this on everything. You could use it on burgers, you could use it on chicken, you could use it on anything that you could think of. We're gonna put it in the bowl with the chicken, put the lid on it, and shake it up until the chicken is completely coated in the dill seasoning. And then we're just gonna put them in an even layer in the air fryer. Then we're gonna cook it in the air fryer for about 15 or 16 minutes on 390 degrees. While that's cooking, we're gonna chop up some cauliflower. So I just got a whole head of cauliflower, and we're gonna chop it up into bite-sized pieces. And then we're gonna put these in the air fryer once the chicken is done. We're just going to swap the chicken out for the cauliflower, and then once we have the cauliflower in there, we're gonna add the same seasonings that we used earlier. So olive oil, garlic salt, onion powder, paprika, and pepper. I like using these on pretty much everything. That's just my go-to, so you could use any seasonings that you like, but I know that these are always going to be delicious every time that I use them. So after we toss the cauliflower around to make sure that it's evenly coated with the seasonings, then we're going to roast it in the air fryer for about 5 minutes on 425. While that's cooking, we're going to shred up our chicken. I like using a fork and tongs. This just is the easiest way that I've found to shred up chicken, especially whenever it's hot, you don't have to touch it. Then we're gonna put it in a container and save it for later. Once the cauliflower is done, we're gonna put that into a container, set it to the side to cool down a little bit, and then we're gonna roast some chickpeas. So make sure you drain and rinse the chickpeas, and then just adding the same seasonings as earlier. We're gonna toss them around and air fry them for about 10 minutes on 385. And while those are cooking, we're gonna cook some lentils on the stove. I'm making about a cup of lentils. You can cook them according to your package directions, but I simmered them on the stove with the lid slightly tilted off for about 15 minutes. While those were cooking, I chopped up some almonds, just roughly chopped them, and then I made the best vinaigrette that I've ever had. So you're just gonna use 3 tablespoons of olive oil or avocado oil. I actually used avocado oil because that's all that I had. Then 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. If you have apple cider vinegar with the mother, make sure you shake it up, especially if you see all of that stuff settled at the bottom. Shake it up before you use it. And then 2 tablespoons of your sweetener of choice. I used maple syrup and it turned out amazing. 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Then we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, about a teaspoon of fresh thyme. If you have it, you could also use dried thyme, and then a pinch of salt and pepper. Put the lid on it and shake it up. That's the best way to actually combine all of these flavors, and you can store that in the fridge in its own little container. Once the chickpeas and the lentils are done, we're just gonna combine all of the ingredients to make an amazing salad. For each salad, I used about a half a cup of shredded chicken, a fourth of a cup of cauliflower, lentils, and chickpeas, and then on top of that, that's when I added my greens. I like using kale because I like how crunchy it is, but you could also use spinach or arugula or any green of choice. And then I added 2 tablespoons of feta cheese, a tablespoon of pumpkin seeds, a tablespoon of dried cranberries, a tablespoon of chia seeds, 2 tablespoons of those chopped almonds, and that's how I stored it. I did not add the dressing on top of it because I didn't want to make it soggy, so I just kept them in 2 separate containers and then combined them when it was time to eat. For dessert, we're gonna make salted caramel froyo pops. This is my favorite dessert as of right now. I've eaten it so many times in the past few weeks, but we're gonna take salted caramel Greek yogurt from the Oikos brand. We're gonna drop them onto a parchment paper lined plate and flatten them out into circles. Then we're gonna put popsicle sticks in the middle of them and cover the popsicle sticks with some of that Greek yogurt. Once we do that, we're gonna put them in the freezer for about 1 to 3 hours until they're completely frozen. Then we're gonna melt about a fourth of a cup of dark chocolate with a teaspoon of coconut oil, and then cover the tops of the froyo pops with that dark chocolate. And then we're gonna make sure that we roll them around to spread out some of that chocolate, and then you can add any toppings that you like. I added almonds and coconut. You could also use peanuts or flaky sea salt or any toppings that you could come up with. If you try these out, I would love to hear what you think because I absolutely love them. So that's everything that I meal prepped this week. This is the first meal prep video that I've made, so if you liked it, then let me know. Like the video, leave a comment if you have any questions, if you have any recommendations. If you want to keep seeing these videos, then leave a comment and let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.